Welcome to Not Factory Approved. I bought this Shelter Logic shelter, car 10 by 20 by 8 feet tall, car cover, portable garage thingy. I thought I'd do a review. I've been fairly impressed with it so far, with their instructions and with the materials. This canvas is only warranted for a year, so hopefully I can get at least 2 years out of it. There's got to be something I can treat that with, but that's for further research. It has lots of different poles that get put together, and all are numbered. And the numbers were all correct, as in quantities. It has 4 of these anchors, and it has cables that attach, it has the clamps that go with it, has those ratchets at the end to put tension on the tarp. So far it's looking pretty good. And here's 3 of the poles. There's 5 total. So those are the arch ribs. One thing I did find on the instructions, which was a bit confusing, I had to change it. In the picture in the diagram, it looks like this flat edge goes to the outside, but it doesn't. It's the pointy edge because of the angle that it's welded at. But that was a minor problem. So I'm going to put it over here, which it's going to have to be anchored well because this is a windy section of the property, but kind of want it out of sight. So, and you can see it's not sitting quite right there, but I'm thinking that's all going to, it's got a funny bend to it in the joint because there's some play in there, but I'm thinking that'll all straighten out when it's winched up. We'll see. So I've got it sitting in the dirt, which of course is not acceptable, and I will put something underneath there. Might just be pieces of pressure treated wood I got left over from the deck. But vehicles will go in here to be hidden. So put the base on, protect it whatever way I can. I'm not going to leave the poles sitting in the dirt, especially when it gets wet, which it will. The prevailing weather is from that direction, which is northwest. And it can blow quite nicely at times, and it can also drive rain quite nicely at times. So those are things I'm going to have to protect against. And the anchors should hold it quite well. Stay tuned. Here's the plan for the car shelter. The ground's uneven, so about 4 10-foot 2x6s pressure treated. Put those in there. I'll take 2 of the pieces at the ends there to splice them together, and then I'll anchor it down on the 2x6s with the pegs, and I'll use this dirt to level it off just on the outside, and then hopefully you can put the tarp on. Continuing with the Shelter Logic, they say to put the ends on first and then the top over top of that. So what you have to do is undo the pipes, tuck them through there, and then bolt them back up again. Seems a bit backwards, but that's the way they suggest. And it looks to me like it's going to need some protection up there. It's going to rip the tarp. And already from packing and shipping, I have a hole right there. So that part's a bit questionable, but now the wind's picking up. So I did it by undoing the pipe, which seems the easiest way to do that, and put the pipe back in, bolt it up. And you don't do anything with those straps yet. Those get through the ratchets later, I think, when you do the top as well. But I'm going to have to patch that, or talk to the company, see what they want to do about it. And then some protection up there against that bracket. Having gone through this and scratching my head, I have a couple of pointers hard figured out. So when they talk about pulling the tarp over, here, they're talking about putting 2 poles in. So they get to the page. These poles, doesn't matter how you put them, they go in the gaps. So there's a slit. There's about a, well, you can see it there, how wide it is. That's what they go across. And then you attach a rope on one side only. It's the outside edge. Fold it over, attach the rope, pull it over the top. You're responsible for the rope, apparently, like that. Then you take a short pole with the tapered end and a long pole, 345 and 163, and you put them in, and it doesn't matter which way they go in as long as you have those 2 together and then a bolt hole on each end. And that's what goes between, gets held on with these clamps. So the pipes, 2 pipes are in there. Make sure you don't pinch the tarp, and then you attach with the dead end clamp on that end, making sure of course that the bolts are flat side, carriage bolts flat side on the outside. And before you do that, they say to ratchet strap it. So this is from before, this is the outside edge, and this attaches to the tarp that goes over the whole structure. Make sure you don't pull those too much or it'll come through on the other side. I had one that wasn't knotted and I pulled a little too much, and so we had about 3 or 4 inches to try and work it back through. That works. I put in these screws into the ground and I wrapped it 3 times, only because I wanted it tight. I didn't want it loose like they suggested. Then, if you haven't measured these poles equidistant, then you will have to adjust. Ask me how I know. So I just undid those lag bolts that hold it in the 2x6 and moved it so I can get those clamps on. So I'll have to do that both sides. This side now is okay. And you can pull the tarp tight by pulling these down and then tightening them up. One thing to watch is how much distance you have. I've made these a little uneven, but not much. See, that one's a little higher, because I want, this is the windward side, so I want to be able to anchor that tarp so it doesn't catch the wind. I think that's it so far. It seems to be working. As you can see, it's been assembled, but it's a little twisted. So I will have to try and straighten that out. I measured the bars down here inside, and it's actually higher up here. So I'll try making them all the same anyway, see what difference that makes. But it's 5 inches to the top of the bar that end, 6 inches to the top of the bar at this end, which means I'll have to adjust this side as well. See if I can smooth it out. You can see how it's sagging down there and twisted. There it is, serving its intended purpose. One 18-foot car sitting inside a just under 20-foot structure. Let's go check the clearance up front. Yeah, we'll have to put some protectors there probably, because the wind, when it's windy, it's going to be flapping against the bumper. But there's room. Actually fits better than I thought it would. Now, to put that one in the shop. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, or even notify, or any of the above, or all of the above. Thank you.